or whatever, she was able to pull out the gun and throw the black bag back over the counter, and she proceeded to square up with me like she had wanted to fight.
You can hear another employee yell for her to get a mask. Krista tells me it should have never gotten to this point.
I'm not a threat to you. I don't have any weapons. I didn't jump behind the counter or threaten to fight you or nothing of that nature.
Chickasaw County Police were called to the scene. They tell me they are investigating. Krista says she's just grateful things did not end worse.
I could have been shot. You could have killed me for no apparent reason at all. A mask.
And the good news here, no one was injured in this, but still pretty serious. I have reached out to McDonald's corporate office for a statement, waiting to hear back.
$1,000 worth of jewelry was stolen when robbers held 3 people at gunpoint. This happened overnight in downtown LA at the Intercontinental Hotel. The LAPD tells us that 2 people got out of a car and robbed the victims near the valet. Officers say the robbers took a bunch of rings and a watch before taking off. No one was physically hurt.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking.
3 armed robbers who broke into an apartment. It happened at about 11 a.m. today on Shakespeare Avenue. Police say one of the suspects was dressed as a UPS worker and had a gun, and that the trio took money and property.
When you make a same-game parlay bet on FanDuel. W and 3 suspects in a deadly shooting in the Bronx. 21-year-old Sergio Jimenez was shot and killed by 3 men in a black BMW who pulled up alongside the vehicle. It happened around 10:15 on December 5th in the area of East 102nd Street and Townsend Avenue. That's in the Mount Eden section of the borough. An 18-year-old female passenger was shot in the hand and back. If you have information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number, 1-800-577-TIPS.
Information this morning on recent violence at a Staten Island high school. Police have released new video showing an attack on 2 students. CBS 2's Christina Fan joins us live from the Willowbrook section with more. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Cindy. Police need help identifying the 2 suspects seen on surveillance. One of them is brandishing a handgun and used it to beat a teenage victim. School safety agents say this incident is part of a troubling wave of violence plaguing city schools. New video this morning of an attack outside Susan E. Wagner High School that sent kids into lockdown. Police say these 2 suspects assaulted 2 teenagers near a football field, punching and striking a 16-year-old in the head with a gun. They then attacked a 19-year-old. Both victims suffered swelling and bruising.
So it's scary. It's surreal.
It's just scary because, you hear of other shootings around the country.
One day later on Tuesday, there was another lockdown. Witnesses told police they heard what sounded like a gunshot near the school. Officers say a 16-year-old was later charged with criminal possession of a weapon and reckless endangerment. Students were left frightened.
I hope that we have metal detectors every day now. Just keep everyone safe.
The Department of Education says it's boosted security, adding extra police officers on campus. On Wednesday, an anti-gun violence initiative also came to the school to speak with kids.
Let's try to provide some alternatives to violence.
We've had a rash of gun violence since the beginning of our school year in September, and this trend is just continuing.
The president of Local 237 contributes the problem to understaffing. He says the city is down about 1,800 school safety agents and is calling on officials to take action before the situation turns tragic.
Some schools have half the staff they used to have to patrol and to combat violence and make sure weapons don't get into the schools.
The Department of Education says it is also working with the NYPD to try and identify the suspects. It is also providing support to those victims. Reporting live from the Willowbrook section of Staten Island.
Clayton County family to the core. A mother says her son watched his brother take his final breath as the 12-year-old charged with his murder sits in jail. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Tom Haynes, in for Christine Spiro. Loved ones say the shooting leaves a gaping hole in their hearts just 2 weeks before Christmas. Fox 5's Underlake Proctor has details.
This mother's heart is broken. She says her parents insisted that her young sons move here to Georgia and away from the crime in Chicago. But in the end, crime found them here. And even worse, her 12-year-old son had to watch helplessly as her 11-year-old son was killed.
It's just too much for me. My baby was 11.
And your 12-year-old son watched it.
He witnessed it. He had to witness. And he just keeps saying they left brother laying there, y'all. Like, this is crazy.
Mom Kendall Munson says her worst fear came true. Her 11-year-old son Elijah was shot and killed Thursday evening as he argued with a friend here on Westbury Road in Riverdale. Clayton County Police have charged the 12-year-old with murder as a juvenile. It's a decision even Elijah's mom is uncomfortable with.
I honestly do not know how to feel. That baby 12, my baby is 11. These are kids. Y'all should be playing in a sandbox somewhere.
Ironically, the Munson family moved to Georgia in hopes of avoiding crime and violence up north.
We left Chicago to, try to escape, gang activity and this type of violence. And, even though I truly believe this was an accident, I don't believe that there was any malice in this child's heart. He was a child that had a gun who should not have had a gun.
The shooting happened right in front of Jerry Shepard's house. His wife actually witnessed the fatal shooting.
One of them was saying, the guy that shot the 11-year-old said, "You play too much, man." And next thing you know, he pulled out a gun and shot him right in the head.
Clayton County Police say they are still investigating just who owned that gun and whether that all face charges. In Clayton County, Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
The NYPD is investigating a deadly stabbing at a subway station in the Bronx. Police say it happened around 12:45 this morning on the mezzanine at the 241st Street Wakefield station. There is no word yet on what led to that stabbing. We're told the suspect ran from the scene.
And now to a developing story that we have been following that has left one person in Baytown dead and more than a dozen others hurt.
Yeah, this happened during a vigil last night. KPRC2's Brittany Jeffers is in Baytown this morning with the very latest. Truly a tragedy for everyone involved. We've learned from the Harris County Sheriff's Office that the victim in this case, a person in their 20s, died here at the hospital, and at this point, they're still looking for the gunman. As a crowd gathered for a vigil near North Market Loop near Thompson Road on Sunday night in Baytown, gunfire erupted.
There were individuals here for a celebration of life, like I said. Right as they were releasing the balloons up in the air was when the vehicle came, and almost at that exact time is when they opened fire into a crowd. Again, there were about 50 people, we're told, that were gathered here, so it was a pretty large crowd. We don't know. Again, one's been pronounced deceased at the hospital, another one's critical.
Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez says the gunman took off in a dark-colored sedan after firing multiple shots into the crowd, striking several people. In all, 14 were injured. In a tweet this morning, we've learned from the Sheriff's Office that a 25-year-old woman, Daisha Allen, died at the hospital. Others were treated at the hospital, some with serious gunshot wound injuries.
It's just awful. I mean, even just adults. I mean, it's just so dangerous, and those bullets don't have, eyes or anything, and so it just puts everybody at risk.
The Harris County Sheriff's Office is also investigating this. An abandoned vehicle was set on fire just 2 miles from the shooting scene near 6700 Juarez Street. Investigators on the scene say that it may be the alleged shooter's car because it matches the make and model. Now, investigators say they don't have a motive for the shooting at this point and are still actively looking for that suspect. If you have any information that might help out
shooting at a Brooklyn deli. It happened inside of Flatbush Deli Corp on Flatbush Avenue just after 7:30 last night. Investigators say 20-year-old Fadil Musa was shot in the head and was pronounced dead at the scene. Police are working to figure out a motive in the shooting, but no arrests have been made.
people.
Breaking news in Jamaica, Queens, where police say a woman was shot multiple times outside her home on Foch Boulevard near 155th Street. Chopper 2 over the scene. It happened just before 6:30 this morning. Police say the 39-year-old victim was found lying in the street with gunshot wounds to her chest and back. She was pronounced dead at Jamaica Hospital. Police are now searching for the shooter. New video this morning shows the moment a suspect opened fire, killing a mother outside her home in Jamaica, Queens. Surveillance video shows the gunman as he fires off several shots and then drives away from the scene in a silver sedan around 6:30 Friday morning. Police say 39-year-old Dawn Peterson was found with several gunshot wounds to her chest and back near her front door. She was taken to Jamaica Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. Friends of the mother of two are horrified by the violence.
We're just praying. You know, we want to know who did it. You know, most of us. You don't expect to wake up in the morning to go to work and not make it.
Detectives are investigating whether Peterson knew her attacker. No arrests have been made.
A Los Angeles at a music festival in Exposition Park.
I ain't playing. Stepping in the function, that is lighting is amazing. Scuff marks on my shoes, I'm blue flame in these masons. I told her, if you love me, baby, show me where the payment.
Both the LA Times and Rolling Stone are now reporting rapper Draco the Ruler was the victim in last night's scuffle behind the stage at the Once Upon a Time in LA Music Festival. Eyewitness News reporter Leticia Juarez live outside Bank of California Stadium where it all happened. Leticia, what's the latest?
Well, good morning to you, John. Yeah, we're outside the Exposition Park where that stabbing took place. We're still waiting to hear from officials to give us the official word on the victim's identity. But as you mentioned, the LA Times reporting that 28-year-old Draco the Ruler was the victim of that fatal stabbing. Now, we have some video from an Eyewitness News viewer. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. New video from the Eyewitness appears to show a fight prior to the stabbing. Now, that viewer tells us he believes this is what led up to the violence. This all happening around 8:40 last night during the Once Upon a Time LA Festival concert. That's when investigators say that some sort of altercation took place. Witnesses saying that altercation taking place backstage. Now, the victim was taken to the hospital in critical condition, but according to the sources, he has later died. The LAPD was on scene to disperse the crowd after the concert was officially shut down. LAPD joined with the CHP who were on hand in riot gear as the concert was evacuated last night.
We were just standing there for like almost more than an hour, like waiting for the next performance, and then next thing you know, like that's when we start seeing people going on social media and finding out that there was a brawl and stuff. And security told us that the festival, that stage was shut down, and pretty much said we could go to the rest of the festival. But as soon as that happened, that pretty much ruined the night for me.
Now, some of the other performers that were set to take the stage included Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, and Ice Cube. Of course, that did not happen after the concert was canceled. And we've also been hearing from social media and even from a fan that came out here to express his condolences after learning of the death. Reporting live here from Exposition Park, Leticia Juarez, ABC